بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. You know, in this Congress, it is a moment we're really looking forward. Now, since when I was here, working with the IIUM team, Alhamdulillah, we have achieved a lot. But that was the first step. Always, when you have a road of 100 miles, it starts with one step. And once you are on track, moving, you will reach. So Alhamdulillah, IIUM inshallah on track, and it will achieve really a kind of educational system which will bring back Islam into our children and to our young people and our graduates. Already, Alhamdulillah, Southeast Asia adopted the Islamization approach to higher education, and the model is IIUM. Now, let us go first what we have done, why we have done it the way it is, and then see what is the next step, how be really on track and moving, achieving, and going from one good thing to another. Now, the problem with our education and even intellectuality in general, that we are just repeating what happened in our history, and even repeating not really understanding it, just literally. We just repeat and we memorize, and whoever come and say how to solve this problem, I tell him 1,200 years they did this, go and do it. Or this is the application in this time or in this place. That it is true, it could be a good application, but now you are not in the same circumstances. You have to understand your circumstance, your capabilities, your needs, and then apply, using or benefiting from the wisdom of the good application, and the wisdom to understand, the wisdom why it was a bad application. Same thing, the westernized disciplines, the student of Western applications and education, especially in human sciences. Now also we are just repeating, memorizing what Locke said, what Voltaire said, what this and that, not realizing that these are different worldview, these different goals. And in this manner, we are just repeating like radio, or and if we go there, also like televisions, So that is not going to help us, and it is not helping us, and we are not changing, we are not developing, we are just recorders. So what we did in IIUM, we started with the first step, because it takes time to produce the proper literature and to put it in order to replace whatever we have now, the westernized or the traditional. So we created a new faculty called Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences. Okay, these are the two opposites. Our traditions, historical solutions and applications, and Western, on the other hand, it is the Western, philosophy, applications. So now what we do, we used double major. If the student, and of course, as you see, both are, their mind is taking rest, not thinking, just memorize, just tell you, if you like, alhamdulillah, if you like, go to hell. So here, what we have done, we have done major, minor. If you take Islamic studies as a major, you take one of the human sciences as a minor. If you take one of the human sciences as a major, you take Islamic study as a minor. And if you take, that is, the minor is about 30 hours. And if you want to get a double degree, you can study another 30 hours about development of Islamic civilization in comparative with the other civilizations. This way, because the requirement of the faculty and the requirement of the university is the same, so that save many hours, and that make it possible in 1 year you have another degree. Now, why we put this major, minor, and we put all this in one faculty? Simple. Because the student facing this double major, different approaches, different worldviews, he start comparing, he start thinking, he is making decisions. So he start involve and not just memorize. So that was the first step. Islamic studies as is, and human studies are the same. So that the first step to you start comparing, involved, making decision, and not just recording. That's one thing happened in the system. The other also step, humans are always happy with their own mind, even the crazy ones. So, and if he's ideological, he will be the only one right and everybody is wrong. And then these graduates would not able to communicate with others, not able to lead. So what we have done, we made Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Debates is culture for the whole university. Not really to have good team and to have proud of the team. No, that not the really the real meaning of this debating. It meant what, and alhamdulillah, because that was the culture of the whole university. Always, our teams win in Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Asia, Africa, and for the first time that a university from non-English-speaking countries to be within the 10 top debating teams. That was 99. Our team was 7th in worldwide, and always, alhamdulillah, having a very advanced position. They are good debaters. As there's something like a joke, in debating, they decide what is the topic, and they, by taking your paper, you decide. You take the position either attacking or defending. It is not you choose whatever you like. No, it is just it shows the skill. It's not really you believe it or you don't believe it. That's the point at all. So they said, after I left, alhamdulillah, that our team was to defend adultery, and fortunately or unfortunately, still they win. So this doesn't mean they support or not support. No, it is how to understand the one you are facing, how we're thinking, where are the loopholes, how to approach it. So that give the skill of communication. So that was what behind it, to give your young people the skill to communicate, and that's alhamdulillah, generally speaking. The graduate of the IIUM, either diplomat or ministers and politicians, or big business people, because these three need communication, and they, alhamdulillah, they are mastering. Even here wherever I go, I find, this either in developing banks or in a diplomat or ministers. Here, just in the Maldives next door, with 200 graduates, you have two of them ministers, and the others are doing very well. So here, that is the second, The third, creative and the problem-solving thinking. That is one, subject to be taught to our young people, because all the way we are, dictating. We are not allowing creativity. We don't allowing, a mind which is, you make your own mind. So here, because as I said, the way we talk to each other and manage our things, that who and so said, the director said, the teacher said, the father said, the mother said, and the child has only to be brought up in just obeying, not thinking, not taking initiative, not creative thinking at all. So we have to change that. That is why we have the subject for our for the student of IIUM to be able to understand that, to be able to develop their children in that manner. So that was one important part of the education in IIUM. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. Also parenting, family and parenting. So that is tarbiyah, education and tarbiyah. So we teach our student how to raise the child, how to develop him, how to create this, mentality of problem-solving thinking, and these are, most important changes we introduced. Now, we're still having Islamic studies as is, human studies as is, and then we have to go to the next step. So, alhamdulillah, working on this issue, we came to new ways. We have what you call trunk education, and that is a trunk. From there you take the branches. So what is the trunk? Which every student really have to know and to be his way of thinking. That is what we call. First, we have to understand our worldview. We have to understand what the Quran means, because Quran is concept, values, principles apply to all time and space. But application going to be different. So they understand tajdeed, sala and muasara, and to apply to the continuously changing time and space. Third, also what's wrong with our understanding of Islam, what was good and useful. So all this put his mind really understanding his worldview, understanding how to deal with his resources, and how really to be creative, to be intellectual, to be able to produce results in his education, in line with the Quranic worldview. Okay, that is for 30 hours. Another 30 hours is studying civilizations, and especially Muslim civilization. What is it? How it develops? Why it failed? And there is one important thing here, and we find that in the Quranic, way of teaching us. There is difference between freedom and chaos. Freedom, it is when anything is good and right, that's my right. You have no right to hinder me to get the freedom to get what is good and right. But if I know it is bad, it is not useful, it is harmful, like this homosexuality, it could bring AIDS. It is not natural, it is filthy, and you should give me my freedom. This is chaos. And still the freedom, to make your choice is there, but you get the civilization went into the chaos, and it is just a matter of time to collapse. The Quran made it clear. Now we can see it in the West now. They started, from 60 getting into this chaos, and it is giving, troubles. And man like Fukuyama in his book, The Human Capital, is screaming, children killing themselves, killing others, the violence spreading. Women are not giving children. The one who is giving children, they are working, and more than half have no fathers. Things going chaotic. Same thing with Qawm Lut, about homosexuality. Once they get into that, their civilization destroyed. Qawm Shu'aib, when they were cheating, so they also failed. Qawm Fir'aun, when they were injustice and oppressive. So every civilization, once it get into chaos and asking to do the wrong things, and to get the freedom to do that thing, not to have good understanding and restrain themselves to what is human, what is natural, what is good, So, in that sense, studying civilizations, it is very useful and give good insights, in that sense. Now, that is the trunk. From there, also we go to fiqh, that is law. It go to the school of law in comparative study with other systems of laws. Otherwise, we may just make khutbah Jum'ah and be happy. But when you study comparative, you realize where the point of strength, where you have it right, and maybe where you understand it wrong. Okay. If it is Usuluddin, it goes in Department of Philosophy, or because this is philosophy. It has its own nature, yes, but still as philosophy. And then they study it in Department of Philosophy. You don't have others have Department of Philosophy and you call it this or that. We should make them wonder what this means, especially for other peoples. If you want to attract them to understand what you are doing, and they will look into what you are doing, understand what you are doing, and really find it is good. Now, Hadith, it is history. Of course, it has its own nature, but still a matter of history. So it go to Department of History, and so on and so forth. On the other side, you go to sociology. You call it sociology. To political science, you call it political science. To economics, you call it economics. But in which way is going to be different? Now, all this, no doubt, the West gave a lot of effort to produce knowledge in these fields. But they are applying to their own worldview, which is not a good world, it is not the right worldview. This, an example, a knife, it's a fact, it cuts. But to use it in a crime or to use it in the kitchen, that is applications. So there we have to separate the knowledge and the facts, the scientific, from their applications and their use of this scientific information. And this way we teach sociology, but we apply it to our own worldview or to the Islamic worldview, where really to make it helpful to humans in their social relationships, in their economic relationships, in their politics relationships. And this way you have and hope, inshallah, will be start producing knowledge, taking care of that. We respect, science, and this way. Also, there is, one more point, that is, about. I think we have to stop to just recapture. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. Anyway, so it is, for this purpose, we have to develop the curricula, to bring this trunk and to approach our heritage and our also the Western applications, and be able really to produce the right student with the right mentality. Also, there's another step we have to understand. Now, we are approaching the higher study. So here we are preparing people to teach, people to perform, people who get this Islamic worldview, how to apply it. But this is to produce the cadre. But the important thing, we have to apply this understanding to primary, kindergarten, primary, secondary schools. A lot of these trunk things has to go in there. The beliefs, this and that, to be part and parcel, one part and parcel in the mind of these young people. Who are they? What to do? How do you do it? What kind of beliefs? What kind of understanding? So there it is, when it comes to higher education, really to go to higher level and to be researchers and producing further knowledge and sciences, we're continuously improving, continuously catching with time and space. Yes, the other point, which is very important, the West was able to be successful in whatever he chose of his own, worldview. That is, he puts it into constitutions, into institutions. So it works and continue and develop. For example, their theory of knowledge, whatever it is, they put it in university. The university continuously researching, continuously developing along the lines of their beliefs and worldview. In government, also they make it an institution. That is separation of authorities. That is the ballot, elections, and so forth, parties, and that is how you get stability.